I am the Waqai Navis, the recorder of events. Much have I seen and heard, the birth of kings and the passing of dynasties, songs of joy and the screams of multitudes put to the sword, the building of cities and palaces, and their destruction by conquering hordes. This was wilderness once. The old fortress built by the Afghans had become the haunt of the flying fox and the owl. At night, jackals and hyenas raised their heads and bayed to the moon. In the year 1048 Hijrah of our holy prophet, on whom be peace, corresponding to the year 1638 of the birth of Jesus, on whom also be peace, His Majesty Emperor Shah Jahan, descendant of the house of Chengiz Khan and Tehmur, fifth of the illustrious dynasty of the great Mughals, Babur, Humayun, Akbar and Jahangir, came to Delhi and inspected this site beside the river Jamna.
Delhi has been the capital of Hindustan from times beyond the memory of man. It shall again be the seat of the empire of the Mughals. Here we will raise a mighty fort, which will be the envy of our friends and the despair of our foes.
Began to rise. First the battlements, 1.5 miles long, over 60 feet in height and octagonal in shape. Followed by the royal apartments, the Rang Mahal or the Palace of Colors, the Khwabgah, the Dreamland, the Tasbih-Khana or the Prayer Room, Diwan-e-Aam, the Hall of Public Audience, the Diwan-e-Khas, the Hall of Special Audience, the Hammams or the Royal Baths. To feed the royal baths, waters of the river Jamna were raised to the citadel to run down the marbled waterways. The canal was named the Stream of Paradise. It fed the baths, ran along the Hall of Private Audience, past the sleeping chambers, to the Rang Mahal, to fall here into a large cistern wherein a fountain shaped like a lotus flower sent a spray bubbling forth from its center. After 9 long years of relentless labor came the day of rejoicing. One day in April 1648, a royal procession entered the fort. Prince Dara Shikoh showered coins of silver and gold over the throng.
होशियार आला हजरत अबुल मुजफ्फर शिहाबुद्दीन मोहम्मद साहिब किरान सानी जिल्ले सुबहानी केती पनाह शाह शहनशाह हिंदुस्तान बादशाह सलामत जिंदाबाद शहनशाह हिंद जिंदाबाद.
Let a new coin be struck to commemorate the building of this citadel. The fort will be known as Qila-e Mualla, the auspicious fort.
Marhaba, Subhanallah.
The peacock throne will be installed in the Diwan-e Khas.
Marhaba.
Subhanallah. And on the Bhojla Pahad, we shall build the biggest and the most beautiful mosque in the world.
Praise be to Allah. Beyond the walls of the fort, a new city began to rise. Members of the royal family and the Umrah built themselves mosques and mansions. The emperor's favorite child, Princess Jahanara Begum, had the main street of the city laid out and named it Chandni Chowk. For 9 days, the citizens rejoiced over the birth of their city. The city was named Shahjahanabad after the name of its builder. Before this, 6 cities of Delhi had been razed and had fallen to ruin. Shahjahanabad was the 7th city of Delhi. Delhi became the most fabulous city of the Orient. From all parts of the world, people came to see its splendorous sights. To Delhi came Christian missionaries, globetrotters, ministers and ambassadors of distant kingdoms.
His Excellency, Janab Francois Bernier, from the Kingdom of France.
The Emperor has been gracious enough to invite me to spend the day with him in court. And, bon Dieu, quel spectacle magnifique! What a beautiful spectacle. First, the horses from the royal stables are paraded before the king. They have all kinds. Every conceivable breed, superb. Now come the elephants, incroyable. Vraiment étonnant. Truly enormous, like living fortresses. Then animals from the royal zoo. After the parade of animals, units of the army are put through their paces. Thus passes half the morning. Then the emperor engages himself in more serious business.
फरियाद है, फरियाद है।
शहनशाह के दर पर फरियाद लेके आए हैं।
हमें इंसाफ चाहिए। यहाँ से कोई खाली हाथ नहीं जाता।
He hears all kinds of complaints, from the rich and poor, neighbor against neighbor, citizens against the state. And when the day's business is over, His Majesty relaxes. All the vocals set resound. The palace resounds with the tinkling of dancers' bells, and oh la la, the songs of courtesans.
Every Thursday, the gates of the fort were closed, only to men. For that one day, the citadel was given over to women.
Look, there's a man. Can you see? Isn't it? This great. What is he doing here? You! Out! Allowed here?
What do you mean let him be? Get him out of here. Only women are allowed here. What on earth is he doing here?
He knows he's not allowed in the bazaar.
Peering at us like that. Really? What is he thinking?
The fort was guarded by women, and women took over the stores. Princesses of royal blood and wives and daughters of noblemen came out to make their purchases. The Red Fort was transformed into a woman's market, the Meena Bazaar.
Oh, you, Yasmin. Did Mummy Begum buy anything from your shop? Aye. The less said about her, the better.
She doesn't think we shop at your boss.
She never buys anything. No, Stingy has never buys
Hey, look! Here comes Her Majesty the Queen. And behind her, Princess Jahanara Begum is beautiful, perfectly lovely.
Oh, I'd love to come to the Meena Bazaar, Amma. Don't you? Yes, child. I must buy you something today.
Begum Sahiba, cast your gracious eyes on my wares.
I have muslin from Dhaka,
Velvet from Iran, lace from China,
brocades from Benares. Here is something fit to adorn the arms of a princess of royal blood.
Just look at those bracelets. Oh, they are the best. They are studded with diamonds. See them glitter on your beautiful hands. Look at that pair of glass bangles. Aren't they lovely?
Specially designed for a princess of taste like yourself, Jahanara Begum.
Exquisite. No, my child. A princess of royal blood does not wear glass on her wrists. Please, Amma. I'd love to wear them, just for today. Tomorrow I'll give them away to my handmaidens.
Your Majesty, why disappoint the princess? Let her indulge herself with these trinkets. They are only a trifle. Just 100 rupees each.
100 rupees each? Common glass bangles at the price of gold?
I do not ask your Majesty to pay for the bangles. Oh, no. Please accept them as my humble tribute to the shapeliness of her hands.
All right, you may have them, Jahanara.
Gold coins for glass bangles? May Allah grant you a handsome bridegroom, Jahanara Begum.
Oh, it was a glorious time in the history of our ancient land. Kala-e-Mualla became the center of the universe. Its greatness was inscribed in the Diwan-e-Khas in letters of gold. If on earth be an Eden of bliss, it is this, it is this, it is this.
Thank you.
In the autumn of 1657, His Majesty was taken ill. People claimed to have seen the angel of death hovering over the royal apartments. His Majesty's sons lent ear to these evil rumors, and each proclaimed himself king of Hindustan. Brother spilt the blood of brother. The emperor watched helplessly from his sick bed. Ultimately, Prince Abul Muzaffar Muhammad Muhyiddin, third son of His Majesty, triumphed over the others and had himself crowned Shahinshah Aurangzeb Alamgir.
Bada ba mulahiza hoshyar! Abul Muzaffar Muhyiddin Muhammad Aurangzeb Alamgir Shahinshah Hindustan!
The fabulous peacock throne awaited its new royal occupant. It was shaped in the form of two dancing peacocks with tails fanned out. Each peacock eye was a glitter with rubies and diamonds. Between the tail spreads of the peacocks was a parakeet cut out of one large emerald. The massive legs of the throne were studded with diamonds and emeralds. And above the throne was a gold-laced canopy. On either side were two human figures made of silk, gold, pearls, and other precious stones. This was the first coronation to take place in the Red Fort. First came bands of Shehnai players. Behind them, strings of elephants caparisoned in silver and gold. Gold bells that hung down from their necks and the silver chains round their massive feet clanged as they swayed. Aurangzeb witnessed a display of fireworks on the banks of the Jamna, and people floated paper boats with oil lamps on the stream. Delhi citizens enjoyed the spectacle for one whole week.
Oh, look, look, look! Up the night sky! It's like stars! And you can see the reflection. It's
While Aurangzeb celebrated his ascent to the throne in Delhi, his father, Shah Jahan, was kept a prisoner in Agra. And on the 22nd of January 1666, Shah Jahan, the greatest builder of all times, the creator of the Taj Mahal, the fort and the mosque of Agra, of forts, palaces, gardens and mosques at Lahore and the holy city of Ajmer, of the great Jama Masjid, the walled city of Shah Jahanabad, and of Qala-e-Mualla, the auspicious Red Fort of Delhi, died a captive of his son. Aurangzeb made his contribution to the Qala-e-Mualla by building the most beautiful little place for private worship. This was the Moti Masjid, the Pearl Mosque. Aurangzeb was a Puritan. He even disliked music.
साहब देश में मातम कीजिए.
What impious sound assails our ears? What means this wailing and lamentation?
Shadow of God, music is dead. We are carrying its corpse for burial.
Bury it deep so that no sound or cry is heard from it again.
Aurangzeb was a pious man, in many ways a good man, but also a bigoted man. He departed from the traditions of his great ancestors, Humayun, Akbar and Jahangir, who had treated their subjects, Hindu, Muslim and Sikhs, as equals. His policies yielded a bloody harvest of hate and rebellion. In his later years, Aurangzeb realized that he had sown the seeds of the destruction of the Mughal Empire.
Azma, Hama, Fasad, Baki. After me, chaos. I came a stranger to this world, and a stranger I depart. I know nothing of myself, what I am, and for what I was destined. My back is bent with weakness, and my feet have lost the power of motion. The breath which rose is gone, and has not left even hope behind. The agonies of death come upon me fast. My vessel is launched upon the waves. Farewell. Farewell.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
And so did Aurangzeb's 50 years of rule and 90 years of life come to an end. Enmity between father and son, brother and brother became a tradition of the house of Babur. Kings came and went like puppets in a play, each leaving another black spot on the fair name of the Mughal dynasty. Amongst them, there was one who loved dance and music.
सजन तुम मुख सती उल्टो निकाब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता के जो गुल से निकसता है गुलाब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता
बा अदब बा मुलाहजा होशियार अबुल फातह मोहम्मद मुईजुद्दीन जहांदार शाह बादशाह गेती पनाह
आहिस्ता आहिस्ता जवाब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता के जो गुल से निकसता
He also loved a common slut.
आहिस्ता के जो गुल से निकसता है गुलाब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता
Laukavar. The form of an angel, the voice of a nightingale.
But I am only a slave. I kiss your majesty's feet.
Vava! Laukavar, hereafter you will be known as Begum Imtiaz Mahal.
Marhaba, Subhanallah, your majesty, I have to live in the palace then?
How will I see Zohra?
Who is this Zohra?
Zohra? Zohra? Zohra, she's my best friend. She sells watermelons. The sweetest watermelons in Delhi. Your Majesty must taste them.
In good time we shall taste them all. We appoint Zohra as the chief lady in waiting. She will also live in the palace.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Thank you. And what about Niyamat?
Niyamat? Who is this Niyamat now?
Niyamat Khan. Kalawant, my brother. He plays the sarangi. He is a very clever musician.
A clever man, is he? Well, the state needs clever men. We appoint him, Governor of Multan.
That will please him, Your Majesty. You are a most kind and loving monarch. Very loving.
My dear Lal, no, Imtiaz Mahal. Imtiaz, we are a monarch in love.
No wonder Hindustan became the dominion of misrule. The seat of the misrule was the Diwan-e-Khas, from where one foolish edict followed another.
Ba adab, ba mulahaza, होशियार आला हजरत अबुल फतह नासिरुद्दीन मोहम्मद शाह बादशाह गाजी शाह शहां शहंशाह हिंदुस्तान.
But to the citizens he was simply Muhammad Shah Rangila, the merry monarch.
ऐसे बदमस्त नहीं हम के बहकते फूल की तरह जिधर जावे महकते
There was much coming and going of courtesans, and the cup of wine was never empty. While these carousals were at their height, a Persian army under Nadir Shah invaded Hindustan.
Protector of the universe! Nadir Shah's armies sweep across the land like a hurricane.
Huh? Hanuz Delhi Durast. It's a long way to Delhi.
जादू भरे तोरे नैना रसीली तोरी अखियां बलमा रे जादू भरे तोरे नैना जादू भरे तोरे नैना रसीली तोरी अखियां जादू भरे तोरे नैना जादू भरे तोरे नैना.
Nadir Shah has crossed the Punjab.
Huh? It's still a long way to Delhi, Hanus. Hanus, Delhi, dur ast.
Nadir Shah is only 70 miles from Delhi.
Come, fill the cup. Just one more for the royal road. We shall lead our men to victory! To victory!
The Persians routed the Indians. The merry monarch craved forgiveness and personally escorted Nadir Shah to the capital. The Diwan-e-Khas was especially illuminated in honor of the conqueror. It was not to see Indian dancing and hear music that Nadir Shah had come to India. He cleaned up the royal treasury, gouged precious stones out of the marble walls of the palace, stripped the hall of private audience of its silver and gold. The citizens' temper began to rise, and suddenly it burst into flame. A pigeon seller refused to sell his birds to the Persians. Words led to abuse, abuse to blows.
मैं कहता हूँ चुपके से कबूतर दे दो। मियाँ तुमको कबूतर नहीं देंगे भाई। तुम ये पोशाक देखते हो, मैं ईरानी सिपाही हूँ। मैं पोशाक करो मत दो, हमारे भी पोशाकें होती हैं। अरे तलवार निकाल कर गर्दन काट दूंगा। खलील दर्जो रॉब दरिया पोशाक। अरे गाली देता है तू मुझको। क्या है ये? अबे इसकी पोशाक उतारो।
The citizens fell on the Persian soldiers they found loitering in the bazaars. Nadir Shah rode out to the city and saw the corpses of his soldiers strewn about the streets. And his rage was terrible.
As long as this sword is out of its scabbard, the life of every citizen of this wretched city is forfeit. Spare no one, high or low, young or old, male or female. No one!
For 3 days and nights, the killing continued.
I have seen corpses of hundreds, thousands of men, women, and children strewn about the city. The streets are like rivers of blood. What shall we do? What can we do?
They say His Majesty has gone to Nadir Shah to plead for peace.
Not a soul has been spared by the avenging sword. If it be your wish to carry the work of destruction further, put life back into the corpses and slaughter them again.
Would that please you? The city has paid the penalty it deserved. Let the killing stop.
For 3 months, Nadir Shah stayed in the Red Fort. To load the booty he had collected, it took 1,000 elephants, 7,000 horses, and 10,000 camels. He took the diamond Kohinoor. He took the peacock throne. All that remained was the putrefying corpse of the Mughals, over which clashed the swords of the Afghans and the Marathas. For years, Delhi continued to be looted. Plundering hordes like Ahmad Shah Abdali's would swoop down and despoil it beyond recognition. What remains of a land which has been visited by a plague of locusts not once, not twice, but 9 times? Only a howling wilderness, a no-man's land to be despoiled by every newcomer. The poet Mir Taqi Mir bemoaned the fate of Delhi.
I am one of the unfortunate inhabitants of this wretched city. Where there was the peacock throne, we now have a wooden platform painted over with garish flowers. Princes whose ancestors filled poets' aprons with pearls have to stuff their ears against the wailing of their hungry kinswomen. Emperor Shah Alam, the dust of whose feet was antimony for the eyes of his subjects, has been blinded by the Rohilla brigand Ghulam Qadir. What was once a garden lush and green is wilderness. Not a withered flower is seen. Hands that held the scepter, ruled a vast domain, are stretched for arms, but are stretched in vain.
In this way, days passed into months and months into years. One king came on the scene and as quickly passed away. The empire of the Mughals shrunk to the 4 walls of the Red Fort. One day, 2 washermen at the banks of the Jamna started fighting with each other and came to the Red Fort to plead for justice. When they were taken to the presence of the emperor, he said,
"Oh, tell the washermen my empire does not extend to the banks of the river. Tell them."
Real power had passed into the hands of the Marathas, whose writ now extended from Bengal in the east, across Delhi to Mysore in the south. Then the Marathas fell out with each other, and power passed into the hands of the English. The imperial bodyguard posted in the fort came under the command of English officers. The last man to wear the Mughal crown was the poet king Bahadur Shah Zafar. At the age of 62, he took over the administration of the ruins of the Mughal Empire. For the last time, the walls of the Red Fort echoed with the cries of the heralds.
Ba adab, ba mulahaza, hoshyar. फरोगे खानदाने आली शान गुरगानी चरागे दूधमान निशाने साहिब पिरानी गौहरे आसमानी मेहरे मुनव्वर सिराजुद्दीन मोहम्मद अबू जफर बहादुर शाह सानी.
Bahadur Shah had neither wealth nor territory, but that did not prevent him from being the king patron of poets, whose names glitter like diamonds. Just as a dying flame splutters brighter for a brief moment before it flickers out, so it was with the Mughal Empire. It was in the early hours of the morning of the 11th of May, 1857.
What is the cause of this tumor?
We have killed the white foreigner in Meerut.
We will destroy the usurpers of the Mughal throne.
We will drive the Firangi into the sea.
La hawla wa la quwwata. Allah protect us. What kind of talk is this?
Badshah Salamat!
Open the gate! Let us in!
We will rid you of your enemies. We will make you Emperor of Hindustan.
We must have time to consider this matter.
And I, as the Queen, your wife, say that time for consideration is over. Brothers, the gate beneath the harem has been unlocked.
Bahadur Shah, who was still in two minds, was forced to become the Emperor of Hindustan. Rebellion spread across the land like wildfire. Brave young men came up to fight. In Bengal, there was Mangal Pandey. In Awadh, Malika Hazrat Mahal. In Bihar, Kunwar Singh and Amar Singh. In Kanpur, there was Nana Sahib Peshwa, Tantia Tope and Azimullah. And in Jhansi, there was Rani Lakshmi Bai. In Faizabad, Maulvi Ahmadullah. At Delhi, Subedar Bakht Khan took over the command of the rebellion. Delhi had become the center of the battle for freedom, and the Red Fort its citadel. Many bloody battles took place between Indians and the English. They waged for many months. Disunity and disaffection amongst the Indians resulted in their defeat and victory for the English. On the 20th of September 1857, the royal family was compelled to flee. A British regiment marched into the Red Fort. On the 27th of January 1858, the last Emperor of Hindustan was brought to the hall of private audience as a prisoner. The same hall where his forefathers had sat upon the bejeweled peacock throne. After being kept waiting for an hour and a half, the Emperor was produced before the military tribunal. On the 9th of March 1858, he heard the sentence,
"The court is of the opinion that on the evidence presented before it, prisoner Bahadur Shah Zafar has been proved guilty of all charges laid against him, and therefore sentences him to imprisonment for life."
On the 6th of November 1858, Bahadur Shah was taken to Calcutta, and from Calcutta sent on to Rangoon. And so the great dynasty of Babur, Akbar and Shah Jahan came to an end. By the time the 19th century came to a close, the spirit of rebellion had spread across the land. At the beginning of this century, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee of Bengal sang India's first song of freedom.
Vande Mataram, Sujalam Supalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Shasya Shamalam, Mataram, Mataram, Mataram.
In the south, people were singing the songs of freedom composed by Vallabh. Muhammad Iqbal of the Punjab also raised his voice in fervent praise of his country.
आपस में बैर रखना मजहब नहीं सिखाता आपस में बैर रखना हिंदी है हम हिंदी है हम हिंदी है हम वतन है हिंदुस्तान हमारा हमारा सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा.
First 20 years of the present century were not yet over when a new light erupted from the heart of India. This was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Along with Mahatma Gandhi rose millions of others, and our fight for freedom entered a new phase. Mahatma Gandhi's voice beckoned these people onward.
We may belong to any religion, but we belong to India. And if we all fight together, no power can keep us under subjugation.
महात्मा गांधी की! महात्मा गांधी की!
The masses of India joined the struggle for freedom. The British Empire began to totter to its fall. In the autumn of 1939 began the Second World War. India was dragged into it. Our leaders protested, but their protests were in vain. At last, on the 9th of August 1942, Gandhiji said in clear terms what had been in the hearts of all Indians. He told the British, "Quit India." At this very time, from the shores of India, Indian soldiers captured by the Japanese banded themselves together to form an army of liberation. Its commander was Subhash Chandra Bose.
Friends, independence admits of no compromise. Freedom has only one connotation, namely that the British and their allies must quit India for good. And those who really want liberty must fight for it and pay for it with their own blood. We must march forward and forward till victory is achieved and freedom won. Inqilab Zindabad. Azad Hind Zindabad.
The Indian National Army marched up to our eastern frontiers. 60,000 soldiers of the Indian National Army fell prisoner to the English. Amongst them were 3 officers, a Hindu, a Muslim and a Sikh. All 3 were locked up in a cell in this fort. On the 5th of November 1945, the 3 officers were brought up for court-martial before a court consisting of 7 British officers. The defense was conducted by a team of eminent lawyers consisting of Mr. Bhulabhai Desai, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and others. After the prosecution had finished its case, the accused made their statements. Captain Shah Nawaz was the first to address the court.
The question before me was the king of the country. I decided to be loyal to my country and took a pledge to sacrifice my everything for her sake, my home, my family and its traditions.
Captain Sehgal, do you wish to say anything in your defense?
Yes, sir. I deny being guilty of any of the offenses with which I have been charged. Every one of us has the satisfaction that the Indian National Army fully accomplished its objectives. It protected Indian life, property and honor in Malaya, Burma and other parts of Southeast Asia against all aggressors.
Lieutenant Gurbakh Singh Dhillon, do you wish to say anything in your defense?
Yes, sir. I was in the Indian Military Academy, Dehradun. I read, written in block letters of gold, the honor, welfare and safety of your country come first, always and every time. It was with this motto in front of me that I served my country as an officer in the Indian Army.
Very well. The court has carefully considered the evidence produced and the statements made by you. It has come to the conclusion that all 3 of you are guilty of the charges of waging war against the king. We therefore sentence all 3 of you to transportation for life.
The sentence was later set aside, but the 3 officers were dismissed from the army. The freedom movement continued to gather momentum. It was said that the sun would never set on the British Empire. Now it did begin to set. A few months later came the general elections and the nationalists won a spectacular victory at the polls. The British realized their days were over. On the 15th of August 1947, the government of Hindustan came into the hands of the Indians. The first Prime Minister of independent India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, came to the Red Fort. From all parts of our land, hundreds and thousands of men and women came to see their beloved leader and hear his words. His message was broadcast to all the world.
Fellow countrymen, it has been my privilege to serve India and the cause of India's freedom for many years. Today, I address you for the first time officially as the first servant of the Indian people, pledged to their service and their betterment. I am here because you willed it so, and I remain here so long as you choose to honor me with your confidence. We are a free and sovereign people today, and we have rid ourselves of the burden of the past. We look at the world with clear and friendly eyes, and at the future with faith and confidence.
धन मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा। तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तब जय गाथा। जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता।